that people, anyone that's experienced wind, that some of it can be really, really excruciating pain, especially if it's trapped wind around the back passage area or, down below that area. So this was something that I was coming up against every month, a week before that blood flow. And then I'd have that really bad diarrhea. So through just my own research, I was looking into how I wanted to implement a lot of alkaline foods and keep away from the acidic side of things, because I just believed personally, in my own opinion, that the acidic foods were just contributing to all these gases that were happening in my body. So I went straight to pescatarian. So that means that I was eating fish. I still ate fish, as well as lots and lots of vegetables. And I really did notice an impact. So first of all, I did the sugar. I then done the pescatarian a couple of months later. And I tapped back in a couple of months later. I was like, oh, do you know what? I fancy meat again. I'm going to start eating meat again. And, I went back full hog, started eating meat again. My period came and wow, it was astonishing how much more painful it was that month. I was back. I never got rid of the pain. I never got rid of the diarrhea, but it wasn't as much, it wasn't as, it didn't go on for as long. And another thing that I was always coming up against was huge clots. So every month I'd have these quite big clots, blood clots as well, that would be coming away. And when I came off of I tried to go to more of an alkaline rich diet, I really noticed that my clots had lessened. Although my pain was still horrific, it was horrific for a day and a half instead of 3 days. And I was just noticing all these differences. And then when I did decide to go back on the meat, and I just went straight, I didn't implement it slowly, I just went straight back, okay, meat every other day. That period, there was a massive difference. And then I think it was a light bulb moment for me of, wow, I think that the meat that I've just been eating, or the acidic, the high, fizzy drinks, the really high acidic diet that I was having was contributing to how my period pain level and diarrhea and clots was affected that month. So I went backwards and forwards. I did a lot of kind of trial and error. So I came back off the meat. I just ate that again. I just ate fish and really rich diet and green vegetables again. And I noticed the difference and the change. And then I did another month of eating meat again, because I'm one of these people, Anise, that I just had to I have to double check, I have to double confirm. I'm always wanting confirmation, but I knew I was sure that that's what that had happened to me. But I just wanted to implement the meat back in again, just to be sure. And it definitely was, for me, a massive factor. And then I suppose we get to the skin, which is the largest organ of the body, and my big passion, which has always been the skin. I've always been a lover of making my own essential oil creams and lotions since probably about the age of 10. And I just started to look into CBD and how that might be able to help me. I was having a lot of people talk to me how they use CBD to help with their period pains at their time of the month. It didn't get rid of their pain. It wasn't a cure for their pain, but what they noticed is that it was like it was putting it back a layer. A couple of layers was going back, so you could feel that ache was being dulled a layer or so. And I, of course, had my own CBD cannabinoid skincare business, but because I was too busy running around, running the business and trying to get everyone else to try and use it, I just kind of forgot about myself. So I started to implement. I was already using CBD for my hormonal outbreaks and my crazy skin that I've always dealt with, which I think was a knock-on effect from obviously my adenomyosis and all the hormonal imbalances that was going on in my endocrine system. And I was blown away how much it was really taking the redness and inflammation out of my spot, and that was great. But it was only when I started really upping my intake of using it, so applying the skincare oils to my stomach, applying them to the bottom of my back during my monthly cycle. But then I do this now. That's something that I do every other day. When I get out of the bath, I love to apply the oils all over my skin. And what I learned was CBD will never get rid of my pain because of the pain that I experience. It's just too horrendous. But what it does do is it gives me a coping mechanism to not have them 3 days in bed. It kind of dulls that pain slightly, that I'm able to do the school run, I'm able to walk the dog, I can get up today. I don't have to kind of stay in bed and rock and do the rocking motion thing that I'd have to do when I was in pain. But I have to be really careful how I do say it and word it, because I don't want it. I see a lot that CBD will help period pain, but it's not as easy as that. It's really your food, your diet. It's all the balances within your internal system of your body. And CBD is a cannabinoid that is also found in the cannabis plants. And when it's found in the cannabis plants, it's called a phytocannabinoid. But we actually make our own CBD in our own body, which is called an endocannabinoid. So implementing these CBD skincare oils on my skin, it interacts with these cannabinoid receptors. And as going back to what I said before, the endocannabinoid system is all about creating homeostasis and balance amongst the internal systems of the body. And when you really dig deep and look into it, it's really heavily linked with the endocrine system. So I was just like, another light bulb moment. How silly are you? You know, you've had a CBD cannabinoid business since early 2016, I established the business. But I've been working and formulating at home for a long time before then. So I just really started to up my intake, Lanice, and just started to use the balm. When I wash my face in the morning, I'd put my CBD skincare oil on my face, and then I'd use my balm on my lips, and then I'd apply it on my stomach. I'd apply it on my boobs. I'd apply it on my lower back. And it got into a habit of me doing that every day and just waiting for when that period comes, keeping a diary, engaging how I felt. What is the pain level like this month? What is my thrush like? What is my blood flow and clots like? And it was really just been a trial and error and going backwards and forwards to find out what works for me. And I'm happy to say that I'm in a position now where I still get pain. I can feel it coming about a week before. I even get ovulation pain. I can feel what side my egg is ovulating from. I'm so in tune now with my body. And it's just brilliant that I'm able, the difference here now in 2020 to where I was in 2017, worrying about how I could even run a business, you know. And now I'm just I'm really pleased. I mean, as I said, I get pain, but nothing like I was experiencing. Yeah.
You said that it's been all about trial and error and figuring out what works best for you. And I think that's a really message, because there's no one size fits all in terms of solving period problems, solving hormonal issues, and, cutting out meat worked really well for you. And for some women, adding in a bit of meat is really beneficial. So I love that you've said that it is trial and error, and you just wanted to make sure that what you're doing was working for you. So if you said it's been like it's night and day what you're experiencing now compared to what you were experiencing in 2017. So if you could go back and have a chat with the woman who was rushed to A&E with the breakthrough pain, what would you say to her?
Well, I suppose the first thing I'd say to her is you're not dying, because honestly, that day I just felt like there was a moment where it was just so awful. I just didn't know what was going on. I was so worried. And obviously being a mum and having young children. So I think the first thing I'd say to her is, you're okay. You're not dying. We're going to get through this. And the second thing I'd say to her is to just really take some time out for yourself. I think the biggest lesson I've learned through all of this, Lanice, is that I just wasn't paying attention to myself. I was always looking after others. I was always looking into, as I said, looking into my dad's health, or looking into my nan's health, or my mum's health, or my friend's health, or my children's health. I just saw myself as the person that just got up every day and had to get on with everything. So I think the big important message that I'd say to me back in 2017 is just really take the time to look into your body and how you're feeling. Horrific period pain isn't normal, having full-on diarrhea for 2-3 days every month whilst you're bleeding isn't normal. Projectile vomiting every month with periods is not normal. And it was always in the back of my head that, when it started to get really bad towards the end with the diarrhea and the projectile vomiting, more right up to my diagnosis, the symptoms did get worse. I never, I've just lost my line of thought, Lanice. I'm so sorry. Birds flew past my window and I just lost my line of thought. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I suppose I just say that all those things are not normal and that you just need to take time and looking after yourself and tapping into what works for you. And yes, doing trial and error. I mean, it takes time. You're not going to work out in a week how you're going to fix your ailments. You know, I'm still learning. I'm still learning now, you know.
So tell us about where we can find your CBD brand, Graces. If someone is listening to this with your story and how you've used these CBD oils and lotions, how can they tap into that for themselves?
Well, of course, reach out to me because, as I said, it's really difficult being Graces London and being a female CEO of a business. I'm not of a wellness therapeutic skincare wellness business. I'm not allowed to make any medicinal claims. So it's really difficult for me to say, go and buy my CBD skincare oil. It's going to help with your period pain or period ailments. That's not what I'm saying. And I definitely want to just put that out there now. But what I would say is get in contact with me because I'd be love to send you a sample to try for yourself. When I noticed that the CBD skincare oils, I was using them for skincare. When I noticed that, I started to implement them by you putting them onto my lower abdomen, my lower back, and putting them onto my sore breasts. And it was really starting to help. I had to reach out to women and find out if the same would happen to them. And one of the companies that I reached out to was a company called On. That's OHNE. And the reason I reached out to On is because they're an organic tampon brand. And I thought, you know, I've used this CBD skincare oil and it's really helped with my periods. But I make these products. I formulate these products. I don't want to be seen going, try my products, it's going to help with this, you know. So we got in contact with On because they create organic tampons. So who is the best person to go to that's going to have loads of women that are on their period, and we'd be able to tap into that. So I just started to put the oils out to a lot of women, Lenice, and we have a feedback group here in my community that I put the oils out to as well. So this wasn't just me that it was working for. I had to be sure that this was something that was actually working for others as well. And you're right, it doesn't work the same way for everybody. One thing I would definitely say is the endocannabinoid system that CBD and cannabinoids fit into is like our fingerprint. It's so completely unique to us. So that will go the same for our hormones. Our hormones, the levels of everything in our bodies are all going to be incredibly different. So one thing I would say is get in contact with me. I'd love to send you out a little 1 ml sample of oil for you to try it for in particular for your period pain. And secondly, all of our stuff and a lot of information is online at www.graceslondon.com. And please feel free to just contact me. It's myself and my partner, Jason, who run the business. We called it Graces London after our 2 lovely children because the family surname is actually Graces, is Grace. So and we have 2 children, so we called it Graces, plural. But yeah, I hope that's all okay. I haven't blabbed too much, but yeah, I want to put that out there to just get in contact with me. I'd love to send you out a sample to try. That'd be great. Your feedback means everything to me.
That's brilliant. That's such a generous offer. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Shiona. So if listeners want to find out more about you, they can go to your website. So you said it's www.graceslondon.com.
That's correct. And I'm also Instagram. I'm quite good on there.
Yeah. What is your Instagram handle?
It's at Graces London.
Brilliant. So get in touch with Shiona to find out more about CBD. And if you want a free sample, get in touch with her for that. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, Lenice, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
For more inspiring conversations, head over to periodstorypod.com, where we have so many more for you to peruse. If you want help with your menstrual or hormone health, email me on hello@eatlovemove.com to set up a free 30-minute hormone health review. If you like today's show, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Tag us, come say hi, and send in your requests for who you'd like to see on the show on Instagram and Twitter on @periodstorypod, or email us at hello@periodstorypod.com. I'm Lenise Brothers, and you've been listening to Period Story.